In this video, we're going to go through Learning Target 332, which is talking about writing and solving some systems of equations. So we have a story. It says Juan is bringing cookies and brownies for the class. He brought 12 cookies and 18 brownies and spent $19.50 when buying them. His brother also bought in treats, buying 14 cookies and 8 brownies and spending $13. How much did each cost? So we actually wrote this system in the 2.0 level, but we want to kind of refresh our memories of what we did. So we are always going to have two variables, and I want to write what they're going to be. So C is going to be the variable I use for cookies. Again, you can choose whatever you want. And then B is brownies. And then we're also going to always have two equations. So the first one is when Juan brought in cookies and brownies. So we have 12 cookies plus the 18 brownies, and that should equal the $19.50 he spent. Then it says his brother also brought in treats. So he brought in 14 cookies plus 8 brownies, and that was 13. So now we want to actually solve this. So we can use substitution or elimination. It doesn't matter. I think for this one, I would choose elimination because they're already set up that way. I think a lot of people would choose substitution, which is totally fine. We should still get the same answer either way. So for elimination, I want to look at what I can multiply by to kind of fix these because none of this will cancel. And I'm looking at it and I'm having a hard time kind of thinking of what we would do. So 12 and 14, I can't multiply 12 by anything to get to 14. Or at least not a whole number. Same thing with I can't multiply 8 by anything to get to 18. So you could find their like least common multiple, like you could see of what they have in common. But what I like to do if I can't figure it out right away, I don't like to spend a lot of time on it. I know something that will always work, and that's multiplying the top by whatever the bottom one is, and multiplying the bottom by whatever the top is. So I think I'm going to choose to get rid of the B's because this one has an 8 and that one's smallest. I know it has an 18, which is the largest, but it will be fine. So I'm going to multiply the top by 8. And I'm going to make it negative because I know one of them needs to be negative. Then I'm going to multiply the bottom by 18. If I do that, I know 8 times 18 is some number, and also 18 times 8 is the exact same number. So I know that that will work. So I don't really have to think about the math behind that. So I'm going to write my new equations. So we first want to start multiplying. So negative 8 times 12 should give me negative 96. Then I have negative 8 times 18, which gives me negative 144. B. And then I have negative 8 times 1950, and that gives me negative 156. Now my second one, I'm going to multiply everything by 18. So 18 times 14 gives me 252. C. Then 18 times 8, I know that because I already did that once, is going to be a positive 144. B. And 18 times 13, it gives me 234. Okay, so now I have something that will cancel, and so I can go through the elimination process. So I have negative 96 plus 252, which gives me 156C. Those cancel. And then negative 156 plus 234 gives me 78. I want to divide by 156. And I get C equals 0.5. Now that I have my C value, I can take that and plug that back into one of my originals or one of my new. Since my original numbers were smaller, I'm going to use those. And I'm going to use the bottom equation because the top one has a decimal. So I'm going to do 14 times 0.5 plus 8b equals 13. So 14 times 0.5, well, half of 14 is 7. Then I want to subtract that 7 from both sides to get 8b equals 6. And then divide by 8 to get b equals 0.75. So if we were given a real world scenario, we are not answering in terms of B and C. That doesn't make any sense. We are going to answer the question. So what this is saying, or what the question was asking, was how much did each of them cost? So I want to say the cookies, which was C, cost 50 cents. And the brownies cost 75 cents. And I quick just want to like make sure that I have this correct. So one easy way to check, you can plug those back in and see. If I plug in B and C to both of these, I should get these numbers on the side. But even easier than that is making sure this makes sense. You're not going to catch everything, but you are going to catch big mistakes. So if I'm thinking about the cost of cookies, 50 cents makes sense. And the cost of brownies, 75 cents makes sense. But if it was like the brownies cost $75, well, that doesn't make sense at all. Or if they cost negative money, that doesn't make sense at all. So there's a couple things that would kind of clue me into knowing that I did something wrong.